You all know about this, and I can go quickly through a lot of this. A lot of this is a picture show. The amazing thing is that, all right, is there
It's not fit. It's just
there's no pointer
so.
into this.
So I think they gave us they gave away this one, right?
I mean, Rory or no stick. I got one somewhere, but I'm not too sure where it is. Okay, I got one. Okay, we're good. Okay, the amazing thing is we designed this thing for to support 40 homes, but that assumed that people would recharge their things maybe every day, and they don't charge them nearly that much. And so the newest version of this is, and the most recent stations built are going to have 80 home kits per station. And there's a station, and it's Paul and Michelle, I'm sure will talk about a lot of about the use and record what has happened to date, and I'm going to just gloss over a lot of it. But there are basic elements of the battery pack lighting kit. There's one sitting down here on the floor. You have another. Paul, you have another one somewhere.
Yeah, we've got one set up on the
right.
side
Okay.
with the lights and everything.
With the lights. Okay, super. So you can see all that. And we demonstrated this to at the big show in 2010 at Denver, and it was a huge attraction to a lot of people there. So I think a lot of good came out of that. We've covered this. The main point of note here is that we got into actually a little headbutting battle immediately in HTC with people doing the reliability electricity leadership. They wanted to invent things. We got to invent things. We got to add value where we're not doing our jobs as engineers. And that didn't take into account that the real job here is to get stuff into the field as quickly as possible to meet the needs of people. And we got technology coming out our bloody ears. We don't need to invent anything to put a station on the ground, and we pretty much proved that with this. So, but that wasn't a popular stance, so CSI was a little radical side group for a while, but we did get permission to set up a community-based committee under this enterprise. It was not the main enterprise. So, but we cast around for membership, we got 50 members, so it was a lot of interest, obviously. But right from the get-go, we said we're going to do, we're going to design something that we can design now, and we can buy all the parts and do the best cost job that we can do. And then HTCs recognizes the key to success needed strong partnerships with NGOs. Well, that's kind of a vague concept. It leaves open the whole question that we're asking at this meeting. Okay, how do we actually do it? It's full of problems, it's full of issues, it's full of decisions and invention of new pieces of the organization. That's what's happened in Haiti. And that's the main reason we're here, is we actually have something to talk about that we think works. And part of that, I'd say it's a fair statement in HTC, there was zero progress toward that goal without what CSI did. The others are slowly getting there. The side effort to this turned out to be what the guy who was leading it said it was. It's an experiment. I'm going to gather a lot of data on how this stuff works. I made a system, I deployed it in a couple of places, and I'm happy with that. And of course, I'm not happy with that. I'm looking for 1 million people, and we got 1 or 2 schools outfitted with solar systems. That's interesting, but it's just orthogonal to the problem. Okay, so but we did agree, and this was clear in the minds of somebody that we need to do this, and we took it seriously, and we went out and got partners. And the first partner I got was, actually the second partner I got was Sirona, and the first was actually our old friend Brian Lennon's outfit. At the time, he was still with that Village Enterprise Fund, which is a microfinance fund in Africa, in Kenya, in Tanzania. Still there, but he's not running it. And the key thing right away that challenge put up was a business plan. So we actually sat down on our own and tried to make up a business plan that would take sizable front-end input donation of seed funding and try to bootstrap that. Just from bootstrapping means pay as you go. You take this, you pay it back, you build another one, and so on. Well, it didn't take much math to show that just doesn't work. It's got to be, I mean, to do it at a rate. We're looking at achieving a certain rate of production and meeting a certain number of people in a certain number of years, and that model simply doesn't work. You would need this enormous contribution up front, and we're not going to get it. So we took what we could get, which looks like established a sort of a baseline now, and I think that baseline is about what we're asking for the funding for new startups of a couple $100,000. Okay, so the history was really good here. We worked hard to get a design going. We got volunteers to do a very professional design so that we were ready to go. We put a business plan together, we shopped it around, we got zero responses from sending it to people. Forget it, we might as well throw it in the trash can. Trash can is send it to somebody. You don't have a contact, known contact who's going to take that and do something with it. You might as well chuck it. So save yourself the trouble. These guys learned that. They worked their way through it. It wasn't easy. It took a year, right, Paul? About a year. Anyway, the bootstrapping doesn't work. Also, I claim without having this plan, we are nowhere. So every piece of technology has got to go together with a plan to go anywhere. So this is a little history of what we have to do and what has been done, and I'm not going to dwell on this at all because it's going to be covered very strongly by Paul and Michelle. The product design is what I'm going to talk about because that is the in-house IEEE contribution, and it's the bifurcation point of where we hand off is at the end of the seed funding. We've got a statement of work that we've done the work, end of deal, over to you. You got to run with it.
Okay.
The other interesting thing to note is CSI is full of people, and they're a little more than half of them are IEEE members, and another half are people like some of you non-engineers sitting here. You're the people that are going to make this go, and you're more than half the battle once it's handed off. I claim from day one the technology solution, whatever you want to build, is the easy part. And I've done startups, and I know this from experience. The marketing, finding the market, the marketing, and building a sustainable growth situation is a really hard part. Especially for engineers who are really lousy businessmen, as a rule. Not all of them. You have a few guys like the dropouts, like Bill Gates, never bothered finishing school, but I guess he was sort of an engineer. The other key thing here is that by our own rule, all the efforts of the people, and certainly wearing the IEEE hat, all the efforts are pro bono. We're doing it as volunteers, just like all of IEEE runs on volunteer person power. And people sitting in this room working for IEEE, like, well, are part of the volunteer base that makes IEEE work, and it works extremely well, but huge numbers of hours from volunteers every year. And why not spread the wealth around to more down into the engineering ranks with these kinds of programs? I think they're very enriching. The whole business of spend here in this continent as part of a worldwide scientific community, to me, is just incredible privilege and not to be squandered by thinking about yourself. So the pilot program for Sirona was in 2 stages, and it turned out to be 6 and 9. It was going to be 3 and 12 or something, but it turned out to be 6 and 9 in pilot 1, pilot 2. This program is just the second part of this. Okay, the first 6 units been in service for a year, and the 9 others were just delivered. I hope they're in your hot little hands by now.
They're almost there. They're just coming out of port right now.
Coming out of port right now. Okay. So they're in Haiti, and we're done, officially done with all except for we have a little funding left, which was donated by NPSS for this fiscal year to finish up, including sending some people down for training, to support training and so on, and that's a small amount of money. So otherwise, it's a done deal, and we're on to thinking about Africa. And I already said this about the number of battery packs, but the 80 for 9 units, 80 kits per, and an estimated 6 people per household. That one little shipment alone is powering several little villages, 4,300 people estimated. But we added all up. At 6 and 9, it's it's over. It's pushing 10,000. It's 8,000 something. Anyway, you do a lot. You get a lot of bang. Michael said this. You get a lot of bang for the kilowatt hour here. All right. Keys to success. We went fast. We were able to go fast because we had very strong financial support just materialized unexpectedly, I should say. We had Sirona all that time that we were out there running around trying to raise money and thinking what to do and designing stuff. They were out there developing the market and working with their partners in Haiti. And so I don't want to steal anything from their talks, but these are key things that need to happen now. So taking the message here, you don't have to wait on us to do a whole lot of the stuff that needs to be done. It should be happening in parallel. And then once we're ready, we can move quickly. Otherwise, everything goes serial and it's going to stretch out into years. It doesn't need to. The ideal we like to hold out is to set up manufacturing in the country eventually, because there's a huge, not just prestige, but there's a huge number of jobs and benefits tied in with doing the manufacturing. In this case, it's more assembly than manufacturing. It's like you're buying everything and you're assembling it, and it's pretty simple to do. So you can do it. There's no question that people in these communities can easily do this. And Paul's going to show us the way, and I'm going to go down and take the pictures as soon as he gives me the call. Okay, and then the other benefit you have going now is that now that there is a demonstration proof of at least what's been done so far, and it's all very good and very important, is that we can start doing that other places. I'm long of tooth. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do it. And I want to see these things going in parallel and as quickly as they can possibly go, because the need is so vast. Why sit around? So I know I'm going to be spending most of my time trying to raise money for the foundation in this coming few years, if I'm able to do it, as long as I'm able to do it. And then you have the expertise of Sirona to available here in this meeting. That's why we're here, is to share that experience. Our plans for 2012, I wrote this some time ago, and before we've done these things. So we said we were going to do a 1 or 2 day workshop, and we ended up making it a 3.5 day workshop to the somewhat of the discomfort of the organizers here. We had quite a little. We burned a lot of electrons on the emails trying to straighten this out, and the publicity here was not wonderful, but we're here and we're we're the people that are going to do it. So we did all this in February. In March, we said we're going to deliver sub-assemblies and trailer. That happened in June, not March, for lots of reasons I won't go into. None of them fundamentally, they all had to do with available funding, basically, and with some drawn-out trailer work, which is too long a crop to get into. April to June, continue forming partnerships, potential partnerships. Well, there's supposed to be another 2 people here who aren't here yet, although they've registered for the conference. One of them is Hassan Mughal from Nigeria, and he's registered and paid the money, but not here. And the other is a guy from Hyderabad, Laskar. And he's, again, paid up, and where are they? I didn't hear that they weren't coming, so I hope they're not wandering around looking for us. Okay. Anyway, after this workshop, whatever write-ups come out of this, I'm sure you guys will do the necessary job of publicizing the work that gets done here. But we decided, once we got the foundation in place, the immediate question was, okay, what do you really want to do, and how much money do you want to raise? So we just took a flyer and said we want to make 10 new startups this year in 2012. And each one of them is going to cost over a 2-year period, $200,000 over 2 years. So when you run that, it's just a constant $2 million a year that you need to raise at the end of the fund. I think that's eminently doable, providing it's got a good team doing it. And I also think it's a very small goal, really, because you'd like to do a lot more than that. And that's the next issue. But I'm trying to be semi-realistic, and I think some people think this is, Mad Hatter country in here, but you got to have a model, you got to have a goal. I made one. So technical models are not done at all. I mean, we had some conversations last night indicating that the markets are going to be different. And I really think the technical models are going to be different too. Design for cost. Paul is going to talk a lot about this. It's fundamental to being able to make the business plan work is you've got to get the cost down as low as possible. And I don't mean by throwing things away. I mean by delivering a really top quality product that can compete with anybody at the best possible price. But that does rule out things like building with engineering labor in the U.S., which in the organization I work for, the fully loaded engineering rate is $300 an hour. So that's $2,500 a day. You're not going to pay those kinds of funds. We need the pro bono help. All right. Okay, so you saw that this is a brochure. That's very few copies. There's supposed to be tons of copies of this thing here. They were supposedly shipped. Elby's trying to find out where they are, but they were shipped a month ago, and they're not here. So that's unfortunate. But there are a few of these around. There's a few out there at the desk. Just look at it. This is just, okay, I can't go back. This is the forward only, the forward looking. But these first few pictures are just from the factory. The little factory we had a lovely space that was given to us at the princely sum of $1,000 a month, and it's huge. And these things are not small, and they weigh, when they're fully loaded, 3,200 pounds each.
Where is this? Where is this?
This is in Bohemia, Long Island, about right near MacArthur Airport in Long Island, and that's where this little factory is. This is a leased space that Nextek is headquartered in Detroit, but their chief engineer lives on Long Island, so they leased the space on Long Island so he could work on it. this is lease space where he got a real deal on it because the group he's working with is also a supporter of our efforts. But you see, there's a total of 6 out of 10 trailers in the factory. There are 10 of them in there at one time. Wayne is not very tall, but this is just this is a very complicated sliding mechanism, and we're working to modify this to make it a lot easier. So when I say there are changes afoot, you're probably not going to see this exact design come out this way anymore. And also, it's also costly, much more than we'd like. Cheap materials, but costly to build. Lighting kits, stacks of LEDs, beautiful light. Ceiling fixtures, everything is very professionally put together and packaged by this company. Top quality at every single step of the way. And down to the boxing and the labeling of the boxes with the right labels and logos and all this good stuff. They did an incredible job. That's a key team who put this together. That is having trouble seeing. Oh yeah, I think this is Wayne, the chief engineer, and this is Ron, his chief mechanical guy, and this is the volunteer here. Well, these guys are volunteered. This guy is paid by the company to do the mechanical work, not charging us. So it's pro bono to us, but his company paid it. And this guy is 70-year-old dad of Wayne, and they put in hours until midnight and 1 in the morning getting this stuff done. And they took it home and worked on it on the weekends. Took it to their house, and Wayne was telling me one time he's in bed lying, putting together these little assemblies. He and his wife. Okay, and here is just the layout of the trailer. I think you've probably seen a lot of pictures, but the central part of this is the home. The red dots are the subchargers that go 48 to 12 volts, and the big things underneath are the 4 so-called house batteries, and then all the rest of these are the kits. So that holds 40 kits. Everything's sealed up very nicely, waterproof. All the electronics is in there. You throw on the breakers and you're on the air in minutes. So this is the concept of the trailer that you can drive to the location and have set up in half an hour. Yeah. Oh, great. Okay, great. I'm going to wrap this up really quick. Tea for the next 20 minutes. Time is marching. Okay. Anyway, that's the old trailer. These are just some of the I like patterns. This is full of lovely patterns. And we did a lot of logos, and we did community logos for the individual locations of the first trailers. This is a 3-language instructions on the back of the battery pack in French, Creole, and English. The main logo and all of the people and all of the organizations that supported this effort are listed here. Okay. These are some of. Whoops. Hello. Again. I didn't say so. I'm not at the end. Okay, so anyway, these I'll just flash at you because they're, as you've seen, and we had a lot of battery problems. We bought these initial units from industry, and we got them home and discovered very late that they were a total rip-off battery that had half the capacity that was on the label. We had to rip them all out and put in good ones. Oh and if you look at the genesis of jump-start kits, there's a billion of them out there. We had to build one little board that did the low voltage discharge limiting and add that in. So there were some modifications that had to be made to the kit. That was a lot of work, very labor intensive, and in futures that's going to be totally eliminated because Paul has now got suppliers that will do this whole thing without any mods and with really good batteries. You got the kit here was like 14 pounds of weight. You get let's see, those numbers won't be much, but basically with one light bulb the thing will last for 31 hours, and with two light bulbs it will last for 14 hours. So if your typical usage is like 5 hours a day, you can get 2 or 3 days with full lighting power going on. And it's got nice indicators, it's got all the instructions for pushing the buttons. It's very simple to use, basically plug in the plug and turn the switch. They charge 20 at a time. You got 20 chargers. It takes about 4 hours to charge them, so you can do 2 shifts of charging in a day if everybody came in every day, but they're not doing anywhere near that. These are just images of all the equipment panels. We got some actual usage data from San Juan that we knew pretty much what to expect, and we got the array tilt angle is the main thing here. So this is set up for 80 at 18 degrees tilt, but we don't scan or power or track anything. You just set that angle at sort of sun and noon kind of day. Anyway, the design here is very straightforward and beautifully executed in details by guys at Nextek. There's a push button that sort of, if you want to make a change, you push that button, it automatically isolates the unit, all the units, so they won't lose where they are in the charge cycle. You plug in a new one, and in a minute it comes back on. So, there was a test in New York in the field unit that you saw, and it was a great test because it went through all kinds of totally stormy weather that, you got like 1.5 kilowatt hours a day storage, all the way up to like 7 or 8. So this is just showing you, oh yeah, some pictures from Haiti. Training session and some of the technicians. I'm sure these guys are going to have a lot more of the 80 pictures for you. But, typical pothole in a road, in a paved road. Lots of manpower. I wish I had shown some more pictures, but of just a manipulation. But there's a little trailer in front that's pulling this thing, a little lift thing with the guy pulling it and everybody else pushing, and that's the way you get this thing off the truck and into the location wherever it's going. And that's the first deployment on the top of the mountain and then at the end, June 23rd, 2011. First one. More people to the right. Philip Larsen is the Haitian guy on our board. It's very helpful, especially with the government contacts. Yeah, we'll show more of these later, but you better go out and get some tea.